Welcome to today's Livestream talk show where we'll present the works of the Open Expo by students of the Media Technology Master Program of Leiden University. I am Peter van der Putten. I'm a professor and curator of this expo. I'm joined here by Leslie van Hoek, my creative producer and creative researcher, who's been helping out the students as well. So where are we today? You know, in these surroundings here, we're actually broadcasting live from the grey space in the middle. It's the space for fundamental creativity in The Hague. And we're locked down into the basement, much like how our students have been locked down into their rooms and apartments over the past month. So we thought it was a very befitting location to do this live stream, and the people of the grey space were kind enough to make this possible. So why this theme open? Why did we theme the expo open? Now, let me quote the English poet William Blake. He once said, I need to look it up, if the doors of perceptions were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is infinite. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through the narrow chinks of his cavern. Right? So, in other words, we've been hiding up in our high-tech caves for the last couple of months, and societies are now opening up again. But will this make us ourselves more open? Will we maybe rethink our future? Will we have a different perspective with respect to technology, society, nature, or more generically, will we be more open to have a different perspective on reality? So the works in this expo, they're the outcome of a new Media Technology class, a course within the Media Tech program in Leiden University, and our student researchers have been exploring this theme in a very playful manner. That means rather than doing a physical expo, it spans a continuum of works. Some were created out in public space. Due to the COVID regulations, we couldn't do a regular expo, so some were out in public space, and other ones, they were created in the confinement of their rooms and their homes. So, these were not long projects. We challenged the students in a matter of days to come up with some interesting concepts and to explore it. Very prototypical, sometimes early work, but create projects that trigger the audience to think differently, to evoke new ideas, to maybe have a different look on reality. So we're going to show and discuss the works of the 2020 edition. We're also going to look back to the past 10 years, because this is the final edition of LMNT, in the categories of space, natural and social connections. And the first category that we will start with is the category of creatures. So Leslie, kick it off with our first review of creature projects.
I'm so happy, happy-go-lucky me. I just go my way, living every day. I don't worry, don't agree. Things that bother you never bother me. Things that bother you never bother me. I feel happy and fine, ha-ha. Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
Okay, Casper, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hello. I have some technical issues right now.
So well, that's the whole point of having these kind of projects. Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit? Well, what are we looking at here? We see this little this room. Yeah.
Yeah. He has some issues right now, but essentially he's closed off the outside world. He's isolated in his own apartment, and he has a set of routine items, tasks he needs to perform each day. He doesn't want to do it right now, but in a second, when it's all worked out, he will do it. So the idea is, in the isolation period, we had trouble staying inside. Me personally, when I was closed off the outside world, I tried to grasp my routines, tried to do everything I could to still get some structure in my life, but after some weeks, the days blended into each other. So this is kind of an expression of that period. I really want to make it work again, because the things I see right now is a very idle robot standing in the middle of the room.
Well, maybe what I would like to invite the audience to then, like while they're watching the live stream, you can actually see the URL above, and check it out and play along while you're watching the live stream here.
Yeah.
So thanks, Casper. I think we're gonna switch to a next project here. So we're going to review some more creature projects and by Ingrid Weert and Pien Leeuwenburg.
Mina mistatatus appellacerto mediao. Jou can maken say anything you want. There isn't in risk. It is all statistically legally. And language is not always statistically legally. Matt will jou maken say.
Watch the mess, nothing to fall. I can't grasp the darkness out of the sea. We should more of the stories I'm told. Instead, I ask myself if I've been bold. I don't die, but I'm tiptoeing through the night. I don't die, but I'm okay as long as I'm alright. I don't die, but I'm tiptoeing through the night. I don't die, but I'm okay. Moby Dick isn't wet anymore. Plenty of colors are stranded at the shore. A capitano, where's your command? Command ship forward, so this one you know. I don't die, but just tiptoeing through the night. I don't die, but I'm okay as long as I'm alright.
So you saw some interesting videos here by Ingrid. She was using artificial intelligence to create an image of herself, who am I, and actually showcasing, you know, the bias and the limits in AI, and the very creative and poetic post-pigeon project by Ping. Next up, we're going to have a look at another creature project by Caitlin and Carlo. What we're going to do is we're going to look at two projects that they created before separately, and then we're going to have a look at their video of their final project, and we'll discuss it a little bit in a quick interview. So let's roll it listening. Hey Kate and Carlo, are you online here? I can't hear you yet. So, trying to get you there. Hey Carlo, Kagan,
Yes.
are you there? Oh, awesome.
Yes, we are here.
we
We
are.
are here. We are here.
I'm so sorry that we were interrupting your beautiful video here halfway, but it's amazing work, you know. I think it's something which is really clear, but also really puzzling. You know, there's so many things you can see into these creatures here. So, and it's also interesting to see that somehow it's building on that previous work that we showcased as well. So, yeah, what inspired you to make this actually?
So basically, our previous project really inspired it. So what you saw before, like life form, for instance, so you can see the same shapes back into this project. And also like this robot that's called Sensor, which is kind of old. It also has the same type of very industrial looking forms that we really used in our project. And also for the behavior, we were kind of inspired by the game of Chinese whispers, or sometimes it's called telephone, I believe, where you whisper in someone's ears and then you go around in a circle, and then at the end, the thing that has been whispered is not the same thing anymore, because people just perceive things differently every time. And this is the same thing we basically did for behavior.
Yeah, because on the website, we have an Expo website where people can dive deeper. You talk about behaving is almost like a way of opening up yourself. In a way, other creatures are trying to understand what you're doing and projecting intentions upon you. But that's also something where things get lost in translation. Is that kind of what you're referring to here?
Yeah, so when someone does something, you're basically sending information out in the world for others to pick up on. So if you, for instance, scratch yourself, then someone else might infer that you're itchy, but it might also just be a nervous gesture that you do sometimes, and then it's wrongly interpreted. So what we basically wanted to do is we wanted to get to the core of what's happening in these instances, and therefore what we did is we created a swarm of robots that behave in certain ways to showcase this.
Okay, awesome. And Carlo, maybe one for you then. Like, if there would be someone who would bless you, if there's someone who actually would like to build upon your work, you know, is that possible? Can you, are
Yeah,
any of
yeah,
these
yeah.
materials available?
That's definitely possible. We basically made like a full hardware list and a whole documentation that is you can find that also on the website itself. We refer to it to a GitHub page where you can see how it's coded, but also all the components that you need. And even later on, all the 3D printed files will also be up there, so you can even build them at your home.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks a lot for this great work. Actually, we're going to showcase one more of your works, Carlo,
Yes.
which also had to do with sand, all the sand that we saw there, and it's maybe a little meditation exercise for everyone to have a break in this kaleidoscopic overview of work. So, roll the tape, Leslie, on Carlo's sand meditation exercise. So I'm hoping you're all zen now, really relaxed after this meditative exercise, because we're going to switch to the opposite. We're going to talk about anger and how people are turning red from rage by looking at the project Red Energy by Daphne Veerle and Peng. So let's roll it, Leslie.
Hi everyone, it's me Daphne and we're here live in the park in Leiden. It's already getting dark. We've had a long day and we still have a lot of visitors, as you can see. People breaking things, they're really angry here in this park. Some people.
But yeah, we made a highlight reel of the day. So roll the clip, Peter.
I feel like my soul's a bit lighter. My soul is lighter, that is.
That's our goal.
It was a super fun day. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let us know. And rage and create red energy.
Back to you, Peter.
Hey Daphne, hey Veerle, are you there?
Hi, yeah. Can you hear
Awesome.
us?
Straight from the park, I hear
Cool.
some beeping, chirping birds in the background, so that's cool. Hey,
We
great project.
Inside,
Great
but it's
project.
starting to rain.
Yeah. Hey, and so what you guys said, like, before we even think about, brand new worlds, etc., we need to let off steam because we have so much anger inside still from the Corona days, or even people had a choice. I could see, choosing between what are you angry about? Is it Corona? Is it Black Lives Matters? Or is it something else, something personal? So, what were people angry about? I saw not enough Bacardi Cola on the website, but what were some of the things that people were most angry about?
Exactly. One group of friends were actually having a party in the park and they didn't have enough Bacardi Cola, so they were angry. It didn't substitute that, but our installation did relieve some of their stress. So it was like, okay, now I'm not that angry anymore. They really liked it. Another cool thing, yeah, that someone was really angry about and wrote on a sticky note was their ex. So someone just wrote her ex's name and then whacked on it, and then she said she felt relieved. It was pretty awesome what people were angry about.
Awesome. Hey, and it's of course great to, for a change, make a project where you can smash things up. But did you get any new ideas based on this project where you would like to take it? What other things you would like to do with this project?
Yes, our first idea was to make an installation where you can release your anger in different ways. By, for example, hitting and punching back, or screaming, or different things. Because of the limited time, we couldn't realize this. And something else is that people have to be on location. So maybe an online version will make sure everyone can create energy, and maybe this can be done by hitting on a keyboard or on a mouse or something like that. And also the energy that is created is not a lot, so this can be improved. Yeah, it would be nice if everyone has the installation in their homes and can create red energy.
Awesome. So turning all these frustrations into something useful and good for the planet.
Yes,
Thanks a lot.
exactly.
Yeah, very good. Hey, thanks a lot for this project. It's great. Actually, we're going to show straight after this another project by you that was created during the locked-in days. The project Spaced Out. And that's also a great introduction to our next segment of projects that are all about space. So let's have a look.
gonna have reading together in a bar downstairs. Yeah, I would like. Yeah. Would you like? Yes. See you at the bar.
Hey, Olaf and Mitchell, good to see you here.
Hey.
What an awesome project. So tell me a little bit more about it, because this sounds really intriguing.
Yeah, so we started with the idea of the rhythm of public space, and then specifically the rhythm of a city, and that developed into the question of like, what is the rhythm of people moving through a city, and is there sort of a collective rhythm, or are these like multiple rhythms stacked together? And it eventually evolved into this project.
And tell me a little bit more about the experience. So as you are walking through the alley, you can see that the installation is influenced by the people that are walking through the alley, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. And it basically works that people start walking through this alley, and this work will analyze the way people will interact with the work, and in this way, set up or recreate or mimic that rhythm that people have while walking past it. And it's some people would start by carefully like observing the metronomes while walking by, and some people would notice the influence and then would start playing around with it or start running, and the work would start tapping faster, and the rhythm would increase, and that's how people would play with it. But some people also would not notice, or would just walk by unbothered.
So the work looked pretty mobile, as if you. I know that you guys put it together just in a couple of days, and that you could install it kind of real quickly. Is that correct? You know, is this something you could run in different, many different places? Do you have any ideas how you would scale it up potentially?
Yeah, because now we really opted for a more sort of a more personal or a small group experience. So that's why I also chose the alley. But I think for future work, it would be interesting to see how it would work in a more in a bigger space, or in maybe a shopping street with multiple with a lot of people, and try to see more this collective rhythm evolve also in sound.
yeah, and also to see how like now it's very much this single person interacting with the work, and we would like to see
Yeah.
how multiple people could interact with the work at the same time by using multiple sensors and more metronomes in that sense. Would be very
Yeah.
interesting to.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what kind of behavior develops then. You know, that's certainly something that it's not just one work. You can imagine if you put it into all kinds of different contexts, and you also get yeah, different types of behavior. It would be fun to try it out in different cities. So thanks a lot for your work, and we'll actually well, we'll actually look forward to maybe seeing it pop up somewhere. Somewhere in our neighborhood. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And then we are actually going to next work, which is called What If Blinds Could See. Hi, Simona.
Hi, Peter.
Thanks for joining. Okay, that's an interesting project that you have here. So tell me a little bit more. You know, it's not you know, the most usual kind of base material to work with. You know, rather than pint or marble, use blinds for a work. So
Yeah,
how did you get
definitely.
there?
I have to give Pien credit for the blinds. That was entirely her idea. She actually found them on the street in Amsterdam, and she fell in love with them immediately. She said, "I want to do a project with this one way or another." And then we sat together and started brainstorming. And I have a background in film studies, and the blinds started reminding me of like this film noir or Hitchcockian. In these films, there's a lot of things to do with peeping, of looking through windows.
Film noir and how this inspired you. Of course, you were also talking on you guys are talking on the website that these blinds are somewhat ambiguous. By definition, that's the case. It was interesting to see the reactions of the people in the street. This older man, he really kind of almost jumped half a feet into the air. His wife tried to pull him back. So what was some of the kind of reactions that you got from people? Did they come up? Well, you guys were hidden somewhere. I don't know if you had a chance to talk to them, or what kind of behaviors could you see beyond what we saw here in the movie?
Yes, there are lots of different behaviors. Of course, we had this huge sign saying curious. So people from all of the shopping street were already kind of eyeing what was going on there. And most of them were a bit shy actually to approach. And the ones that did indeed had this sort of shock reaction. And the few, I think, younger people that passed by that understood that this was an artwork kind of really approached to see all the different angles and the artwork as a whole. I would like to see it in a exhibition space, because then people really see it as art and they're not going on their business and daily stuff. Then it would be truly appreciated, I think.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks a lot for giving more context to the work, and well, hopefully we can show it somewhere else, be it in like you say, in an art gallery, or maybe somewhere else in public space. You know, it's also good to see the reaction of people out in the open, out in public. Thank you very much. So next up, we're going to look at a project by Titus called Cityscaper. Hi Titus, how are you?
Great, thanks.
So nice work, because it was like a very simple setting. You almost abstracted away, you know, everything, but you could already feel that, you know, it's really hard to kind of balance these different objectives when you're, you know, when you're doing world building this way. So yeah, I actually liked it that you kept it kind of in that sense really simple, you know. And where does your inspiration for world building or, you know, these kind of topics come from?
I mean, I like world building in general, and I made a sort of city builder for another media tech project last year. But that was for very specific buildings in very specific spots. And here I just wanted to focus on, like you said, that sort of feeling, abstracting the whole process and make it kind of intuitive and automatic instead of very picky.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine. Yeah, because you could quite easily lose you in all kinds of other aspects if you would whatever, if you would make it physical or something. And then, you know, here you can already test, you know, like really how do you bring that idea across? I think that was a really good idea. I mean, that said, do you have ideas yourself? Like how would you, with infinite time and resources, like I said in the opening, the whole idea is that you guys build something real quick, you know, just in a matter of days, just to explore the first concepts. But of course, that may lead to good ideas how you could build this out. You know, do you have any ideas how you would like to build this project out, maybe in a different way?
Yeah, I think one thing I really like and try to work on is more local detection, sort of. So what's nearby and have it react to that. But you need to optimize it a lot. I didn't get there. I think for making it more physical, I've seen in other expositions these sort of sand boxes that are interactive and mapped by projections or augmented reality. I think it would be cool to combine that, where you can sort of make these shapes and colors by just touching the sand with an object or your hand, depending how you build it. Yeah, I think that would be cool and satisfying to make.
Very interesting idea. Okay, well, let's see if that's maybe the next project up your sleeve. Thanks a lot, Titus.
Thanks. Bye.
Alrighty. So next up we'll look at a video by Niels Poldervaart, where he's looking at different ways to look at information in information space. There's two examples about Unicode and millions games of chess. And after that we'll close the session on space with a throwback video, the beautiful work 95% Invisible by Zoisler Marcus. And the meaning of that work actually explores dark matter, the 95% of the world that we cannot see. So let's roll it. So our next set of projects here is around nature. So we're going to explore, it's a very common topic for Media Tech students. So we're going to explore a bunch of those projects. But of course there's also cost to an expo like this. So we'll first start with a commercial message by our sponsors.
Do your plans always die on you? Do you feel like you do not understand your plans? Do you feel embarrassed about not understanding your plan's feelings and emotions? Do you wonder about how your plan is feeling? Are you suffering from bad plans all the time? Taking good care of your favorite plan can be quite annoying. Have you ever felt guilt for letting him die? Imagine being able to take care of him. Have you ever wanted to have a green thumb? Now, there's Happy Plan. Turn your home into complete comfort and rest with Happy Plan. Never buy new plans again. Imagine how much money you would save.
Welcome to Happy Plan Studio. We will demonstrate this amazing product.
This product will make your life easier. I just love it.
You'll never feel miserable again. Now you will know exactly what they need.
Hey Peter, do you always have problems with the feelings and the needs of your plan?
Oh yeah, John. But we now have this amazing product. It's called Happy Plan. It's a little device that you put on your plan with sensors in it, and it connects to the stem and reads the data information from within the plan. From there, this little device connects to the internet technology and sends you messages on your phone. How about that?
One little box that you attach to your plan, and it will translate and send messages from plans to you.
Well, thank you guys. That was awesome. It's a very kind of poetic project that I'm seeing here. And I did notice you maybe borrowed a little trick here from Black Mirror by keeping everything very realistic, except for one thing that was truly, let's say, weird. That is teleportation type of thing. But because the rest was still so realistic, you were really taking on this journey, dreaming about this poetic world where teleportation would be possible. Actually, also based to some extent on the scientific findings, because I saw you were pointing at the teleportation paper, as well as we saw this earlier flashback with the Wood Wide Web that actually trees do communicate through these yeast networks. So tell me a little bit more, because I don't think it's for you guys just about solving some practical transportation problem. I have a feeling there's more behind it in terms of your motivation for making this movie.
Yeah. Hi, Peter. Hi, everyone. Yeah, definitely. We came up with this idea actually thinking about how during this corona outbreak, actually a lot of rainforests have been destroying. We saw a meeting once from the minister in Brazil saying, let's take advantage of everyone looking at the corona situation and let's change the rules and everything. So we thought, let's do something about nature. We need to do something about nature. And brainstorming about everything, we saw this article where they mentioned about this fungi communication underground of the trees, and we thought about this, and we thought imagine how if we could use all the trees could communicate, and how would we be, and if we could use it in a way. So we thought about this getting connected to the tree and getting somewhere else through the trees, like that.
Yeah. So you have the network of trees that communicate, but allow you to move from one forest, from one tree to another. I mean, it's really nice because I think there's a lot of course, especially around ecology and nature. There's a lot of pessimism. So it almost makes you wonder: does it even is it even worth still to dream about these things? Well, what is your take on that? Should we all be, how do you see that? Does it even make sense to dream in this world?
Hi, Peter. So yeah, we think dreams are actually very important. Like without dreams, you can't make change, and without dreams, you can't really envision the change. So I think that's what our project was kind of, kind of meant to be. It's almost kind of like a platform for your dreams to, kind of take a life and then just envision to see how they look like. So yeah, to us, dreams are very, very important.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And what would be? Did you guys have some discussions around? How would you maybe use this movie, build a bigger platform around it? Any other ideas what you would like to do in this same space?
We haven't so much discussed how we could improve this or even just expand this. I think we kind of wanted to just use this project as kind of a platform to kind of exercise our imagination and just come up with just kind of a conceptual concept. So yeah.
Okay, well, it's a great bridge to the next project, exercising our imagination, because the next project is all about if the sea could speak, what would it be like? Hi, Vita and Orissa. Thanks
Hi.
for hi there. Thanks for this beautiful project. I'm wondering a little bit. I know Vita, for example, you live quite close to the beach, actually, and what did you try to with this project? Do you want to basically translate the reality of the sea and the experience when you're standing on the brink of the waves, or are you actually even implying some alternative reality where nature here in this case, the sea, the waves could actually speak? Maybe you can allude a little bit to that.
Well, yeah, since I live close to the sea, it's my only viable option to explore the real world. So, in one of the during taking a walk at the sea, I just noticed that when you stare out at the sea, my thoughts crumble and disappear in a way that the sea has this invigorating intensity. And through its symphony, it sort of drifts and moves you and crumbles your thoughts and your inner monologue. So we wanted to translate that feeling to a real installation. And for your second question, that whether it's an alternative reality or if it's translating real world experience to something, I think it can be both.
Right.
And yeah, it's replicating this alternative universe or reality that you share with the sea and between the sea and yourself, but also sort of translating that feeling to an installation. And because of this lockdown situation, we had to take it up to a small space.
Yeah.
And yeah, the other
So
side
would you
going.
like to do it in a bigger space then? Is that
Uh, yeah, a bigger space would be nice, but it's also I
or is it
think in the
about
video you can
intimacy?
see. Yeah, intimacy. In the video, you can also see it's a closed space. I think that also replicated with the space that you share with the sea, that it's also like happening in this closed space. So it's wanted to create this immersive experience.
Yeah. Hey, and there's a certain narrative in the work here. There's a certain build-up. It starts really heavy. Probably it has woken up a couple of people on the live stream here, and then it progresses. Can you or maybe you or Rissa, you can say a little bit about that narrative and that transition?
Yeah, it's in our experience in real life. We experience more calm when we walk closer to the sea. And especially when you walk into the water of the sea, you kind of become one with the sea. So the sea surrounds you in a certain way. And
So
also
that's also why the installation was surrounding you in a way.
yes, and also in the beginning, you have like very unclear and undirected thoughts. You're very stressed out, and when you get closer to the sea, you become more calm, and that's also the visuals change as well as the sound. So that's the main concept. We use different layers in a sound, and also the visuals. They consist of 5 different states, and the first one is very chaotic, and it gradually changes to calm.
To more structure and calm. Okay,
Yeah.
well, great. I think, you found a very different medium to express that feeling that you have indeed when you walk to the edge, to the sea, and suddenly all your worries of the day maybe disappear. Well, thanks a lot for this work.
Yeah.
Okay, so the final work here in the nature category, when you think about nature, you think about living things, but nature is so much more. It's also hardcore physics. So, and the next project, openness, talks to this particular topic.
Helium is a bit lightheaded. From the blue colors, it floats straight down the spectrum to yellow gold, that resembles the crown it is entitled to for being a noble gas. Helium is mostly found in stars. Is this what makes them float in the sky? Select helium to help you live to new adventures. Select helium to help you live to new adventures. Select carbon if you could use some more balance in your life. Select oxygen if you need to connect. Select neon to spice up your night with some neon light. Select iron to get closer to the inner core of yourself. Select mercury only if you're grounded enough to handle it. Select hydrogen for some self-reflection in busy times.
Hey, Bart and Marta, thanks for being
Hi.
here. So great to see your work. Hey, Marta, you're sitting in front of the installation. That's so
Yes.
cool. Yeah. Hey, yeah, I try to, I have a very poor kind of approximation of it here in the back of me, but it's nowhere near your installation there. And it's interesting when you, in your work, it's, even though it's about nature, it's much more around these kind of the physical, the pure physical physics aspects of nature, perhaps. And what was how did open maybe lead you to this particular installation, or the idea for this particular installation?
Well, open was our starting point, and the space between actually the most inner core of an atom and its outer core, the electron, is actually a wide space, a wide open space. So we started from there, looking at more characteristics of atoms, and then became fascinated by the fact that each atom has this specific emission spectrum, which is quite artistic in itself. But rarely seen in daily life. So from there we came up with this idea of creating this mood lamp of the characteristics of the atoms.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, of course, that you're combining here something that people sometimes feel is very cold, the physics and atoms, with these personalities that each of those atoms has, like Marta, is that, that's of course, interesting contradiction that you're kind of exploiting here. What made you think of moving to that idea, to give every atom more or less a personality?
Yeah, because we saw these emission spectra of the atoms, and we really felt like they kind of fitted the characteristics of the atoms as well. So, and we felt like we wanted to experience them and our interpretation of those characteristics to experience for yourself.
Yeah, because it's of course something hard to imagine, but it's really nice that you take such a topic of, let's say, hard physics and make it something very kind of emotional and experienceable. Thanks a lot for your background. It looks beautiful. So and maybe we get to see it somewhere else. Who knows? That would be really nice.
Yeah,
Thanks a
indeed.
lot.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Alrighty. Hey, this was kind of the final project in the nature segment. We're going to talk now more. We have two projects more in the area of social connections. So, and the first project is called Open Your Mind by Thijs. The second project is thro by Ashborn, and we're going to run some quick videos for you to introduce you to these works. Hey Ashborn, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
Straight from sunny Iceland.
Oh yes, greetings from Iceland.
Yeah, exactly. So you made actually, good use of the opportunity. Now we didn't have the physical expo, but all digital to be somewhere else. Are you in Reykjavik? I have to admit, my geographic knowledge of Iceland is fairly limited.
Yeah, I'm actually in Reykjavik right now, but I just came back from Snæfellsnes, which is a different place, which is
Okay.
why I've been having internet troubles.
Yeah. Well, great to have you here, and good to see that you are back at least on the interweb and connected to all of us, all the way from Iceland. Tell me a bit more about Truno. I've read. I think it's really interesting what you write on the Expo. People should really have a look. You talk about you want to have.
What I was thinking was that due to the corona.
Okay. Yeah, tell me a bit more.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So what I was thinking was that due to the corona situation and the social distancing, people were kind of missing out on opening up to other people in social situations. So I thought it would be fun to try and find a way to open up to each other over the internet in a different way than just voice or video chats. And yeah, that was kind of the concept.
Yeah, and how does it work? Because we saw the visualization, right? But how would what you say, feel, do be translated into these graphics? And is it a common experience where multiple people can access it at the same time in principle?
Yeah, it actually is. It's hosted live on the. You can access it on the NMNT website under my name, and it's actually a common experience where you basically just open up the app and you can see where if other people are speaking to you. So what happens is the pattern becomes more complex by the number of people that are joining in, and it moves depending on the voice input from users.
Okay, that sounds great. I think we need to try that. We have a whole bunch of people here on the YouTube stream, so we'll post a link to your project in the chat real soon after this. It's great to hear that it's actually online, so we can just we can try it all out.
Yeah, that would be great.
Is there a way how you would like to extend this work? Is it something that you would like to expand in this kind of digital form where anyone could use it? Or is it something where you could say, well, I'd like to build this in a different context, maybe in a physical installation or whatnot?
I think for now it would be, I think it's fine in digital form, but I would like to extend it in a way that, because as it is right now, every time somebody opens it, for them, they see the pattern from the beginning. But I would like to, become smarter and find a way to have it so that it's always evolving, no matter who it is that's opening it. So everybody sees the exact same pattern.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so we'll post a link to your page in the YouTube chat. Thanks a lot for giving this contact and for your great work. All right, so this gets us to the end of the live stream. I'd like to say a couple of words of thanks, and then we also have actually a final project that we want to show to you. So the thanks, of course, go first and foremost to the students of 2020 who have done wonderful work under very difficult conditions, and who, they really used it as an opportunity. I think we saw very creative work, both thematically leading into the topics of today, but also finding different ways, indeed going out into a park, going into an alley, or maybe creating a more pure online work, like the work by Asbjorn that we just saw, or the Twitch work by Casper with the robot that we saw in the beginning. I saw it move. I checked in during the YouTube stream, so people were, the robot was kind of functional again. And of course, I'd like to thank all the students who also worked on NMT in the New Media and New Technologies Expos in the past 10 editions. We saw a lot of flashbacks here today. They've done wonderful creative work, really inspiring, and really shows that with the right level of creativity, only in a couple of days you can actually make interesting work that seeds, bigger projects, and that was the whole idea of this particular course and program. Of course, I would also like to thank Grayspace for having us here locked into the basement. Again, very befitting location given the theme that we locked up while the theme is open. But Grayspace is really a platform for creativity here in The Hague. So we very much appreciate them having us here. So we're going to close it off with a very appropriate final new media, new technology project that we're going to show. It's a project called Bedtime Story. So what better thing to end with is than with a bedtime story. This was a project where people were invited to read a bedtime story for poor kids who didn't have parents that could tell that story to them. At least that was what the installation led them to believe. But in reality, something different happened. Thanks very much for tuning in, and let's enjoy this final project.
Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree?
I travel the world.
And the seven seas. Everybody
Looking for something.
Some of them want to.
use you.
Some of them want to.
Get used by you.
Some of them want to.
Abuse you.
Some of them want to.
Be abused.
Sweet dreams
Are made of this.
Who am I to disagree?
I will travel the world.
and the seven seas.
Everybody.
Looking for something.
Hold your head up.
Keep
Your head up.
hold
Your head up.
Your head up. Hold
your head up. Keep your head up. Hold
your head up.
keep your head up. Some of them want to.
You shoot.
Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused.